NFL Week 6 is here. We got the trends and some best bets. Let's talk some football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven, and we are here to talk some NFL football, baby. That's right. It's time for NFL Week 6. Before we dive into anything, Thrive Fantasy has doubled their first deposit match, but it's only available from now until the kickoff for Thursday Night Football between the Broncos and Chiefs. Let's check it out. There it is right there. We got Travis Kelce over a half a receiving yard is the free square they're giving you, plus up to $500. If you go set up an account, use the promo code JABO or the link below, you put in $500, they give you $500. That is free money. Plus, they are giving you one of your legs on the parlay. There it is right there. Travis Kelce over half receiving yard. Add it to another piece, and I got another little player prop for that game later in the video. You get 3.2 times your money on a two-legger, 5.2 times on three legs, so on and so on. Guys, free money. If you just hit one of those two legs, you get up to $500 deposit match and 3.2 times your money. It's an unbelievable deal. Again, it's only from now until kickoff of the Thursday Night Football game. Eligible in over 30 states, so go check it out. Now, let's talk some football. Let's get back to the video. We are up 4.88 units on the year because we lost that Monday night bet, so let's get back after it. But it's been a successful year so far. I want to keep grinding and get rolling. The game bets for me have been just absolutely sizzling hot, luckily. 15-7 plus 8.04 units. So let's see if I can keep that rolling. I got a lot of bets for you today, too. I like the slate. And also, for those of you that are new, we give out a ton of info, including some trends. And those trends happen to be 41 and 12 this year. And they help us hit our first trends parlay last week at plus 565. It was awesome. We got another trends parlay, so let's keep that rolling. Before we dive in, hit that like button, guys. Help this channel grow. Leave a comment below. Help other people on YouTube see it, and help us be able to put out more and more content for you guys. So appreciate all the support. As always, chasing our first 7,000 subscribers. Now in this video, we start out with those Week 6 trends, 41 and 12. Have I mentioned that yet? Thursday Night Football preview, and I give out my best bet between the Broncos and the Chiefs. And then I give out my Week 6 NFL best bets as well as Ryan. That's right, Ryan is popping on to give his two best bets for Week 6. And we end it with that beautiful head-to-head bet between me and him. I started out 0-3. I have now won 2 in a row. It's time to even the score, baby. That's right. So that's what we got going on. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get right into it. And it starts with the NFL Week 6 trends. All right, it's time for the gold, baby. That's right. Let's go. The first one is not a trend. It's just a stat. The betting public. So you have the public versus the sharps. If you don't know much about betting, the sharps are usually groups that put a ton of money on, and you usually want to be on the sharp side, if anything, long term. But betting on the public side this year is 44, 27, and 3. If you were a $100 better on all of those games, you were up $1,287 against the spread through 5 weeks. It's the best start for the public through the first 5 weeks since 2005. That's insane, guys. The public is crushing it. What that usually means, it's going to come crashing down at some point. But I just want to point that out to you guys. It really means nothing for a bet, but just want to point that out. Double-digit favorites on Thursday Night Football, 24-10 against the spread, and that is the Chiefs, minus 10.5 or 11, depending on your book. And then the Jaguars, 14-2-1 against the spread the last 17 games versus the Colts. They absolutely own them. Now, this one, you're not going to be able to win because I gave you two sides. I want to make sure you knew the whole picture. The Jags are also 1-9 against the spread in the last 10 games as a home favorite, which they are against the Colts. So whatever trend you want to go with, you can. But either way, it's going to be a win and a loss for one of those. So next one, Baltimore has gone under in 18 of the last 21 games as a favorite. Tennessee Titans have gone under in 11 of their last 15, and the under between these two teams has gone under in 11 of the last 15. Everything points to the under. Just a reminder, this game is in London, so it starts early, though. Next one, Falcons, easy one. Gone under in 9 of the last 11 games. We got a lot of under trends right now, guys. And then the Saints, you see them every single week because it has hit every single week, and I don't believe they've had a game even over 37 points this week. They have gone under at 14 of the last 15. And then the Dolphins, 16-5-2 against the spread. The last 23 games as a home favorite, and they are big home favorites again. That's page 1. Let's check out page 2 now. We got the 49ers 13-3 against the spread last 16. We keep adding them on here every single week, and they keep demolishing the spread. That's right, including the rout of the Cowboys last weekend. And then the Patriots and Raiders, who play each other, have combined to go under in 8 of the 10 games so far this year. The Lions 13-2 against the spread in the last 15. They are like the 49ers, just absolutely crushing the spread, and the books have still not caught up to how good they are. Rams 10-2-1 against the spread in their last 13 versus the division rival Cardinals. Not really a rival, but anyways, then we got the Cowboys. They've been really good after a loss. 10-1 against the spread after a loss since 2021. And then Mac Daddy Jones, backup quarterback Jones, has lost 12 consecutive starts straight up and against the spread as an underdog. And then we finish it with that Bears and Vikings game. The Bears have gone over the total in every game this season. And also, they are 5-19-1. That's right, versus their own division. That's absolutely insane. They are playing the Vikings. They have been awful against their division. They've been awful against a lot of people, but just want to point those ones out. And those are the Week 6 trends. Let's see if we can get some winners. And like I said, we're going to pick our 3 favorite and have a trends parlay near the end of this video when we give out our best bets. So those are the Week 6 trends. Now it's time to get into Thursday Night Football. All right, we got a divisional matchup for Thursday Night Football with the Chiefs hosting the Denver Broncos. Chiefs minus 10.5, over-under of 47.5 in this game. We got a lot to talk about before we get into the best bet. The Chiefs have won 15 straight games versus the Broncos. That is insane. This isn't even a rivalry anymore. They're just dominating it. Javonte Williams is going to be back for Denver. They're starting running back. I don't know how many snaps he's going to get, but we will see. Broncos, they are one of only 3 teams this season to not cover the spread. They are 0-4-1 against the spread, and they continue to struggle against everything, the run and the pass. They are 32nd against the run, 29th versus the pass. The Chiefs have a very balanced offense. They're not as explosive as they used to be, but they're still balanced. 12th in running the ball, 7th in passing the ball. Now, they're still averaging 25.6 points per game, which is 9th most. But if you hear people talk, you think the Chiefs' offense is horrendous. No, it's just not as good as it used to be, but it's still a decent offense. And I think they will pick it up. Also, remember, Travis Kelce questionable. It looks like he's going to play. He's a big part of that offense, so stay tuned to see what goes on there before kickoff. Defensively, the Chiefs are pretty solid. Top 10 defense, and the Broncos, as we all know, are dead freaking last on defense. The big issue with this game when you're looking at bets is whenever you ask people, it's not necessarily rain or something like that that really affects games. Everybody always says it's wind, and this game is going to have, it's scheduled to have over 20 miles an hour of wind. So that really throws off the passing game, could mess up kicking game if you like kicker props. But that's kind of something you got to take into effect, especially as we get into these colder weather months. You're going to have to check the weather of some of these games. But we mentioned this last week, and I didn't check Week 5 stats, but this was going into Week 5. Games with 10-plus mile-an-hour wind at kickoff, those games are 96-50 to the under the last 3 seasons. They're 4-0 through the first 4 weeks this season. Again, I don't know the record exactly for Week 5. It's been pretty crazy. It really cuts the scoring down, that's for sure. So before I give my best bet, I will say this. I like the under 47.5. The trend does help, and the weather helps. That's part of it. But I just like the under. If you watch the Chiefs play, they kind of get out to their lead, and then they just kind of shut it down and run the ball and play it conservative in the second half because they're just going for a win and their defense is playing well. I know a lot of people are on the over. I feel like I'm kind of on an island, but it's just a lean. I do like the under, but that's not my best bet. My best bet is a parlay. It's going to be something kind of like what we went with on Monday, which was not successful. But here we go. Isaiah Pacheco of the Chiefs, longest rush, over 16.5 yards at minus 114. Now, this is the longest rush for those of you that are asking. It's not his total yards. His total rushing yards are like in the 70s somewhere. I almost went with it because the Broncos are so terrible, but it was just a little high for me. So I decided to go with the longest rush over 16.5 yards. Let me tell you why. The Broncos, they give up a lot of chunk plays. As we all know, they give up a lot of plays that are positive yards in general. They have given up a 77-yard run to Breece Hall last week, a 24-yarder to Khalil Herbert, 27-yarder to Brian Robinson, 67 to Devon Achane, 20 to Raheem Mostert, 52 to Chris Brooks. That's right, Chris freaking Brooks. Guys, it hasn't been pretty. Those are only their longest runs of that game. There was probably other runs in those games where they still went over 16.5 yards. It has not been pretty. They've given up a ton of those. And Isaiah Pacheco has had a run of over 16.5 yards in 3 of the 5 games so far this season. I think they're going to lean on the running game. The game script says it's going to be more running when you got that much wind and probably going to be playing with the lead. So I think Pacheco's going to have a lot of attempts and tries at it because his over-under on or rush attempts is about 16.5 right now. So you give him 16, 17, 18 attempts, I think he definitely has one carry that gets 17-plus yards against his Broncos defense. You saw last week they did okay in the first and second quarter against the run in Breece Hall. And then second half they just fell apart. They are due to fall apart. They are not a good defense. Whether it's missing the gap they're supposed to be in, a linebacker going somewhere they shouldn't, safety with a bad angle, whatever it is, I think Pacheco can get one run for 17 or more yards. I know, I just analyzed the crap out of hopefully getting one carry of 17-plus yards. But that's my best bet in the Thursday Night Football, and now it's time for the Week 6 Best Bets. All right, game number 2 takes us out to Houston, Texas. We got the Texans hosting the Saints. Saints minus 1.5, over under 42.5. Before I get into this, I think I mentioned the word parlay in the Thursday night game. There's no parlay, just Pacheco over the 16.5 longest rush. So my best bet in this game, the under 42.5 Saints Texans minus 110. I love the under. And it's not just because of trends, but let me just point those out again. The Saints under in 14 of the last 15. Texans this year have played 3 games that haven't even reached the total of 40 points. So Dennis Allen, terrible head coach, great defensive mind for the Saints. And C.J. Stroud, this Texans offense moves the ball through the air. They do not do very well. They're a bottom 5 rush offense, but when they play against good pass defenses, they struggle. They faced the Falcons last week, the 7th best pass defense. They only scored 19 points, and they got a touchdown at the very end of that game to try to come back. So they were struggling like the entire game. And then the Ravens, 3rd best pass defense, they only scored 9 points. So now they're facing the Saints team that has just been unbelievable through the air on defense. 183 yards per game given up, the 4th lowest, and they have 7 interceptions, which is tied for the second most. I think they finally get Stroud to throw an interception for the first time in his career. But man, that's a crazy streak he's on right now. But to me, it's about matchup. I mean, like I just said, the Saints can stop what the Texans do well, and the Texans only averaging 82.6 yards per game on the ground. It's just not very pretty. And then also, you have 2 wide receivers, very talented ones, and Chris Olave for the Saints and Tank Dell for the Texans that look like they're both out. I know Tank Dell is out with a concussion. Chris Olave, toe injury, looks like he is probably going to be out too. I mean, guys, it's going to be even harder to move the ball when you're missing those 2 type of wide receivers. So as long as it isn't a ton of special teams turnover or touchdowns or pick sixes or anything like that, I think this game stays under and the Saints go under for the 15th time in 16 games. So give me the under as my next best bet. And let's move on to the game number 3. All right, here we go. I got the Buffalo Bills hosting the New York Giants on Sunday Night Football. We got the Bills minus 14, over under 44.5. My best bet this game, it's the Bills team total over 29.5 points at minus 110. The Buffalo Bills are coming into this game after a sluggish game across the pond in London. Just got beat by the Jacksonville Jaguars. But the Giants, they're going to be a great little bounce back defense to play against. They have given up the 4th most points per game at 30.6 points. And before this game, again, across the pond, the Bills scored 38 against the Raiders, 37 against the Commanders, and 48 against the Dolphins, averaging 41 points per game. The Bills are also averaging 43 points per game at home this season. The Giants struggle to stop pretty much anything. I mean, they suck on offense, which, by the way, going 3 and out will give them even more possessions, and the Giants' offense does not move it very well. You can say, well, what if they slow down because of blowouts? All those games I just mentioned when they scored 38, 37, and 48, they were all blowouts, and they still kept putting up points. So the only way the Bills really get stopped is Josh Allen turns the ball over or something like that, or they go across the pond like they just did. But Giants only have 2 interceptions all season. They're not going to cause a lot of havoc in the backfield. They're not going to pick off a lot of passes unless he throws it right to them, obviously. Because the Giants only get 20.4% pressure on quarterbacks also. I think it's going to be a long day for this Giants defense. It's probably going to be a blowout, but I don't want to take minus 14. That is too many. I just want the Bills to score 30 or more points on prime time. So that's what we got. Let's move on to my next bet. All right, my final bet of the day takes us out to Los Angeles. We got the Rams hosting the Arizona Cardinals. Rams minus 7, over under of 48.5. Cardinals are just beat up defensively right now. They got injuries everywhere, and they just gave up 34 points to a hobbled Bengals team and Joe Burrow. That's right. This Bengals team, before they played the Cardinals, scored 46 total points in 4 weeks. That's right, 46 in 4 weeks, and then they scored 34 on this Cardinals defense. This Cardinals defense starting to play like I think we all assumed they would play at the beginning of the season. I liked what I saw from the Rams last week. We got Cooper Kupp back, and holy crap, he didn't just come back to just catch a few passes. He dominated. He looks like his old self again. And now you have him and Puka Nacua, a great 1-2 combo. They did well in the first half against a good Eagles defense, but then they got shut down in that second half, had some bad luck also. But you know what? This isn't the Eagles defense. This is the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals 26th in pass defense and 22nd against the rush. So I think the Rams could really do anything they want, but obviously the Rams throw the ball more than anybody else in the league. So they're probably going to move it through the air. This is a Rams team that started off the season scoring 30 points versus the Seahawks and 23 versus that vaunted 49ers defense. I don't think this is going to be that much of a problem to get to 28. They probably score 30 plus in this game, is my guess. They're going to come out hungry after getting shut down in that second half against a good Eagles defense and good front. So give me the Rams team total over 27.5. That's right. I got 2 team totals, and that's my final bet. Now, let's go see what Ryan's got cooking. All right, I was wrong. Before we kick it to Ryan, we have the special Trends Parlay. We hit a plus 565 winner last week. Can we do it again? Here we go. And this is an official bet this week. That's right, I am making it official. Plus 573, under 41.5, Patriots and Raiders, 49ers -7, and the Lions -3. Oh, help me. Please let us win 2 in a row. Here we go. Under 41.5. Like I said earlier, they've combined 8 of 10 games to go under, and we're talking Mac Jones and Jimmy G. Good Lord. It may end 0-0. It's that bad. 49ers -7 against the Browns without Deshaun Watson, it looks like. 13-3 ATS in the last 16. They should steamroll the Browns without Deshaun Watson. Lions -3 against the Bucks. There's a lot of people that are leaning towards the Bucks side on this one. The last time the Bucks played a good team, like a team that is good in the trenches, was the Eagles, and they got beat down by the Eagles. I expect the Lions to do the same. They are 13-2 against the spread in the last 15. So let's see if we can make it 2 in a row. That would be absolutely wild. But plus 573, under 41.5, Pats Raiders, 49ers -7, and the Lions -3. All right, now that's all the best bets I have for you. Let's kick it to Ryan.
Let's do this. I went 1-1 last week in my best bets. I can do a little bit better. I'm going 2-0, and later on I'm gonna win that head-to-head against Steven. So I'm looking for the sweep for myself this week. First game, we're going to Cincy, where the Seahawks are taking on the Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals -3, over/under at 45 points. Now, my best bet in this game, we're going to go with the Seahawks money line at plus 136, going with the underdogs. Yes, I know I'm a Seahawks, but this is not a homer bet. I really truly love this one. The Bengals and Joe Burrow, they kind of picked it up last week, but it's just against the Cardinals. He threw for 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick. But like I said, just the Cardinals, so nothing super special. Jamar Chase, he dominated last week. Oh, man, 15 catches, a bunch of yards just all over the place. But this Hawks defense, they also got it going last week against, I know, Daniel Jones, nothing special. But I believe that kind of gives them the confidence that they can get after the pass rusher. At the beginning of the season, we didn't have all of our DBs. Not everyone was healthy. Witherspoon wasn't playing. I think the times are turning for the Seahawks and that that secondary with Tariq Woolen, back, maybe not fully healthy, but week 5, week 6, and things like that in the NFL. Not everyone's always going to be fully healthy, but Tariq Woolen's going to play. Devin Witherspoon's the starter. Pass rush, we're starting to do new things, so I definitely think that's going to help pick that up there. The Seahawks offense now. We have a balanced offense, which I think definitely helps. Geno Smith has been an effective quarterback at throwing the ball with like a 97 quarterback rating, almost completing 70% of his passes, so pretty solid there. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant. Now, with the Bengals, they do a great job at guarding the pass against the receivers, but against the tight ends, they struggle. So look for us, play action, all those things, get Noah Fant going, Will Disley, all those guys with the tight ends. We like to change it up with formations and motions and all those things. And what's going to help with that? The Bengals rush defense is terrible. They're giving up, 5 yards per carry, which is the 28th worst in the NFL. Just no good. The Seahawks, they're willing to run the ball. Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, they like to mix it up, and Walker's been a pretty solid back at that. He's averaging like 4.4 yards per carry. Charbonnet's at 5. He doesn't get the ball much, but I think they're definitely going to kind of start mixing that in. When I was talking about the Seahawks pass rush. Now, Joe Burrow, in the last 3 games, he's been sacked 3 times, so that bodes well for the Seattle Seahawks. Keep getting pressure on Joe Burrow, having to get it out quick, and all those things. Also, another big thing. Seahawks are coming off a bye, kind of getting some guys back from injuries on their offensive line and those things. And just, just extra film, extra tape to an extra week of rest to go up against these Bengals. Yes, it's away, but I just see with all these advantages, I love the Seahawks at plus 136 for that money line. And now let's go check out my next bet. I have a 6-point teaser for this one. I know the last few times the 2-0 in the moneyline parlays, but I just couldn't find anything that was working for the odds, so I went with a 6-point teaser. So I'm taking the 49ers and the Eagles for the 6-point teaser. The original line was -7 for both those games, and I'm dropping them down to -1 for both of those. So the 49ers over the Browns and the Eagles over the Jets by more than 1 point. Now, the 49ers versus the Browns. Browns might not even have Deshaun Watson going. Like, as of Wednesday, he hasn't practiced. The Browns have already talked about potentially starting PJ Walker, and that doesn't bode well against this 49ers defense that is just absolutely loaded. They stop the run well, only allowing 3.7 yards per carry, which is 9th best in the league. They get the seventh best quarterback pressure rate against quarterbacks, and that's even without blitzing, so they can drop in coverage, get in your face, and when you got a young quarterback or a backup quarterback trying to do that against this 49ers defense, oh man, that is not going to go good. 49ers offense, it's been rolling. Brock Purdy has a bunch of weapons. Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, who's just been a stud as well. The 49ers, they don't allow sacks either. That's what the Browns are good at. They're good at defense, stopping the run, stopping the pass, and all those things, and getting after the quarterback. But the 49ers and Brock Purdy only allowed 8 sacks so far, 6th best in the entire freaking league. Now that makes it easy. So when you got all the weapons and you can kind of do whatever you want because the pass rush isn't getting there, it definitely helps. And I think that will be a struggle for the Browns. Plus, the Browns' offense is just no good. Also, the Browns really, really struggle against tight ends. They do not cover them well. 135.7 rating against tight ends, and now they're going against George Kittle. Maybe one of the best, not the best, but one of the best tight ends in the game. So, man, I can't see a way where the 49ers don't win by more than 1 point. It just doesn't make any sense to me if that happens. Now, the next game, we got the Eagles against the Jets. Once again, these two teams, I mean, the Eagles are undefeated for a reason, and the Jets are kind of making it work. Yes, they they beat the Broncos, but the Broncos are definitely nothing special. They're terrible. Their defense is terrible. Zach Wilson didn't even throw for over 200 yards against the Broncos defense, and now he's going against the Eagles defense. No, they don't have the greatest pass coverage, but man, the Eagles defense can get after the quarterback at a great rate without blitzing. Same thing, kind of like the Niners. And they stop the run. Oh man, they stopped the run with this D line and the linebackers and everything they got going. Also, the Eagles offense with Jalen Hurts, 275 passing yards in the last 3 games. A.J. Brown, 125 yards in the last 3 games, or 125 yards plus in the last 3 games. It just, they kind of got it rolling a little bit. They can run, they can pass, they can be very balanced. Also, with that Jalen Hurts as a dual threat quarterback, man, I mean, he's a true dual threat quarterback with his ability to throw the ball and run. Last week, he ran for 72 yards, a touchdown at 4.8 yards per carry. And man, the Jets, they struggle at stopping quarterbacks when they scramble. 5.4 yards per carry. 28th worst in the NFL. So when you're trying to go against Hurts and this offense and trying to stop him, the running backs and the receivers, I just don't see that being a good sign for the Jets. And 1 point, that's all the Eagles need to win by. That should be an easy one. So my best bet in this one, like I said, 6-point teaser, take both the Eagles and the 49ers at -1 at -120. And now it's time to redeem myself for our head-to-head matchup. Let's kick it to that.
Dun 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 dun! That's right, baby. It's time for the head-to-head bet between me and Ryan as I go for win number 3 in a row. That's right. I am just wiping it up right now. That's right. After an 0-3 start, so I am 2-3. Ryan is 3-2, and we got a beauty of a game for you. It is a huge battle in the AFC South between the Colts and the Jaguars. My best bet in this one is the Colts plus 4.5, which means that Ryan has the Jags plus 4.5. Now, we were going to do a cash giveaway, but we did not get enough likes on that Monday Night Football video. So hit like on this one. Hopefully we can get to 400 likes. I want to be able to do a giveaway on a head-to-head contest. So Here we go. I'm going to start, Ryan, because I can. Because I'm the host, right? So let's do that. The Jags, they were in London for a couple weeks. That's a long-ass time to be in a totally different time zone. I know I just talked about the Bills who were in London, but the Bills lost, and they're playing a terrible team. The Jags, they're riding high. This reminds me of, remember when the Dolphins scored 70 and everybody and their mother was betting on them against the Bills, and I had the Bills fading them because they were a little too happy and thought they were too good, and they got routed by the Bills. Now, these are not the same level of teams, but the Jags are riding high. All of a sudden, the Jags are back, and I was high on the Jags at the beginning of the year, but I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit. 4.5 is a lot of points against a division rival that had the lead and was dominating most of the game. The first in week one had a bad turnover and a bad fourth quarter, and the Jags came back and won. But I just think it's the Colts game. I think they have a chance to win this game, so I'll gladly take the 4.5. What do you got?
No, I mean, come on. The like you said, the Jaguars have kind of figured it out. They started off slow. That was a lot of drops by the wide receivers and those things. That's not happening anymore. And they're coming off 2 games. Now they're at home after winning 2 in London, excited to be home against the Colts. They already beat them by 10, like you just said. And now they're home and playing the Colts. I mean, come on. 4 points is that all they got to win by? They can do that easily. Trevor Lawrence has figured it out a little bit. Their defense has kind of picked it up, not like super great or anything like that. And did you really just compare the Bills and the Colts? Like the Bills had a bounce back, and after the Dolphins, Bills and Colts are 2 completely different teams. I don't even get it. And also, the other thing, this is the big thing. This is the huge point right here. The first 3 times you took the crappy team, you lost. This is the crappier team compared to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm seeing another L coming out of you, and I'm taking a W to go 4-2.
So many things you just said wrong. You're talking about the Colts being a crappy team. They're not a crappy team at all. What are you talking about?
Okay,
And
maybe not
second of all,
crappy, but not compared to
the
the
main thing,
freaking Bills.
you're missing a couple things. You said, yeah, they won by 10. That's just looking at the score. If you watch the game, the Colts were up the whole game until the fourth quarter. This big turnover. That means nothing to me. That's exactly what the public side would say right there is, oh, they won by 10. Look at that. No, if you watch the game, you know what happened. Second of all, or third of all, this is the biggest part. It's the Gardner Minshew revenge game. He used to play for the Jags, and now he's going to be the quarterback because there's no Anthony Richardson in this game. Gardner Minshew is the better passer and the smarter quarterback right now. Yes, they lose the Anthony Richardson's legs in that aspect of the game, but Gardner Minshew has done just fine. We all know he's one of the best backup quarterbacks that you could have in this league. He's been done well as a starter. The Colts plus 4.5. If anything, this is a game that goes right down to the wire with a field goal, and I'm getting plus 4.5. I might even sprinkle some on the Colts money line. That's just not happening, guys. This is the Colts plus 4.5. Leave a comment below. Tell Ryan how just absolutely dumb he just sounded. It was just terrible. It's
Starting
the Colts
quarterback
plus
versus a
4.5.
backup quarterback? Come on.
Gardner Minshew, he could be a starting quarterback for so many teams right now. You want me to name them? Jets is one of them. Holy cow, the Bears maybe? He could be the starting quarterback on a lot of teams. Anyways, Gardner Minshew revenge game. 4.5 is too much in a divisional game. These guys played a tough game in week one. The Jags coming back from being in London for a crap load of time. Give me the Colts plus 4.5. And by the way, the other thing you said that didn't make any sense, the Jags are back home. Jags don't have a home field advantage. Are you kidding me? Those people out there in their tank tops and bathing suits watching a game in Jacksonville, Florida? Come on.
In a swimming pool?
Yeah, in a swimming pool. That's right. Also, the Colts are very balanced on offense. 8th in rushing and 15th in passing. That's what really is getting them through. Now, I hope Trevor Lawrence doesn't throw for like 400 on them because their pass defense is the one thing I worry about. But Colts plus 4.5 for me. Jaguars minus 4.5 for Ryan. Put Team Ryan, Team Steven in the comments. Let's see who can get a win. I want to get back to 3-3 and just keep this train moving, baby. That's right. So, all right, that was fun. That's the head-to-head bet. Now let's check out the bets recap. All right, look at this beauty. We start out Thursday Night Football. Pacheco, longest rush attempt, over 16.5 yards. That's right. That's all we need is one carry for 17 or more yards. Then the under, 42.5 in the Saints and Texans. And then a couple team totals for me to finish it out. The Bills team total over 29.5 at minus 110. The Rams team total over 27.5 at minus 110. And then that trends parlay plus 573. The under 41.5 in the Patriots and Raiders, 49ers minus 7, and Lions minus 3. And then we got Ryan over there, Seahawks money line, baby. Go Hawks, plus 136 on DraftKings. Then we got the 6-point teaser, 49ers minus 1, Eagles minus 1. They practically just have to win their games. That's right, at minus 120. And then that head-to-head bet, Colts plus 4.5 for me, and the Jaguars minus 4.5 for Ryan. I am 2-3. He is 3-2 as of right now. So I'm going to keep winning. But thank you guys for the support. That was another fun video to talk Week 6 NFL best bets. Leave a comment below. Let me know, Team Ryan, Team Steven, what your best bets are, just to say hi. Anything that helps the algorithm. And I like to communicate with you guys and talk some football. So hope everyone has a great week of football. And a reminder, we will be back for the Friday night video for the NFL player prop. So thanks again for the support. We'll talk to you soon.